Hi guys, Olive here today to do the 20 questions book tag. I recently saw Bex from Get Bookish do this tag, and I think I've seen a few other people do it over the years as well. It took a little bit of research to figure out who created this tag, but after some digging, I found out that it was a Goodreads user by the name BuyDBook. I will put a link to that original tag and to Bex's video in the description box below. The tag is pretty straightforward. It's a collection of 20 bookish questions. So let's get to asking and answering. Question number 1. How many books is too many books in a book series? This is a hard question for me because I don't read a lot of book series. I mainly read standalones. I mean, I'm predominantly a nonfiction reader and they very rarely come in series. But maybe 6 books, I would say that's probably too many for a series. I think the ideal is somewhere in between 3 and 4, maybe 5 if it's really necessary. But if I'm considering taking a series on and it has 6 or more books, I probably don't even want to start it. Question number 2. How do you feel about cliffhangers? Not great. If it's done correctly, then okay. I won't love it, but okay. But if it's like some of the YA series that I've encountered where the climax of the book is used as the cliffhanger, meaning that it's a disgustingly obvious cash grab playing off the emotions of a young and extremely enthusiastic audience to get them to buy the next book in the series, then no. That's what got me so worked up about Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. It inspired me to make the one and only rant video I've ever done or plan to do on this channel. I'm still mad about it, so no regrets. Question number 3, hardcover or paperback? Paperback all the way. Hardcovers are overpriced and just uncomfortable to read. They are literally heavier and they are pokey. I hate that they come out before paperbacks here in the States. Question number 4, what is your favorite book? It depends on whether we're talking about fiction or nonfiction. If we're talking fiction, then it's Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. If it's nonfiction, then it's H is for Hawk by Helen Macdonald. Question number 5, what is your least favorite book? I don't know that I've ever actually given this a whole lot of thought because I try not to think about books that I hate. I block them from my mind and I move on with my life. And also, I just went back and looked at my Goodreads and I've only given a handful of true 1-star ratings. Typically, if there's a book I really didn't like, I'm able to find some sort of redeeming quality, something good about it, that compels me to give it 2 stars. But if forced to choose, my least favorite book of all time is probably The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides. This is some thinly veiled autofiction in which the author wants to flex on how much he knows about religious studies and wants to complain that some girl rejected him in college. It is drivel, and I wish it didn't exist. Question number 6. Love triangles, yes or no? I know love triangles get hated on a lot here on BookTube, or at least they used to, because I think for a time they were very overdone in YA fiction, but that's not the majority of what I read, so I honestly don't mind them if they're done well. Like in Lily King's 2 most recent novels, Euphoria and Writers and Lovers, there are love triangles in both of those books, but I feel like there are legitimate reasons for them to be there story-wise. They don't have the stereotypical YA which guy is hotter type dilemmas. It's more like the main character has to choose between 2 different paths. Question number 7, the most recent book you just couldn't finish. I have been DNFing books freely, but also quietly this year. I find that bad books just kill my momentum, but I also don't want to talk about books if I really didn't like them, like not even enough to continue with them, so I've not been including them in my wrap-ups. But earlier this year, I read maybe 1 chapter of Saltwater by Jessica Andrews before wanting to toss it directly out of a window. The prose is purple to the point of asphyxia, and during the opening scene, she wanted to experimentally describe a birth scene. It was gross, weird, and unnecessary. I can be a little bit grumpy old man when it comes to experimental art. I really don't see the point of it, but I know that about myself, so I just put it down and moved on with my life. Question number 8, what is a book you're currently reading? At any given time, I'm always reading multiple books, but one of the books I'm reading right now is Inferno, a memoir of motherhood and madness by Catherine Cho. Question number 9, what's the last book you recommended to someone? I recommended the 9 Realms series by Sarah Kozlov to my husband because he was in the mood for a good fantasy series and he recently just finished the first book. Question number 10, what is the oldest book that you've read? And by oldest, we're talking about the publication date. That would be The Odyssey. I read it for the first time back in high school and I have plans to reread it this month. Question number 11 is what is the newest book you've read? also talking about the publication date. Well, I read books that haven't come out yet because I'm a reviewer not just here on my YouTube channel, but I also do some freelance reviewing. So I've actually already started reading books that don't come out until next month. One of those is Loving Sports When They Don't Love You Back by Jessica Luther and Kavitha Davidson. This is a book about some of the hot button issues surrounding sports. So for example, doping scandals, problematic mascots, and what mega sporting events like the Olympics can do to a community, specifically after the event has ended. I'm actually doing a Q&A with these authors for the Christian Science Monitor, so I need to read their book first. Question number 12. Who's your favorite author? As of right now, I don't think I have a favorite, but after I've read all of her work, it's probably going to be Edith Wharton. Question number 13. Buying books or borrowing books? As much as I love buying used books, my answer is borrowing. Giving that answer is heartbreaking though, because it has been months since I have been inside of a library. I am still able to borrow e-resources. I'm very grateful that I can do that, and I do it all the time, but I miss being inside of a library so much. Question number 14. What is a book you dislike that everyone else seems to love? Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. No further comment. Question number 15, bookmarks or dog ears? Bookmarks, absolutely. The only time I ever dog ear books is when I receive a physical ARC from a publisher, not a finished copy, but an actual ARC. If I know I'm going to be reviewing the book, I will be underlining passages and taking notes in the margins, and I want to mark those for myself so that I know where to find them when I want to come back to them. I'm not going to waste a million post-it tabs trying to keep an ARC nice. They're made of lesser quality and they have no resale value, so I'm going to mark it up if it helps with my review. But for any other book, including finished copies I get from the publisher, then it's a bookmark. I have a whole collection of them. There is no sense in me not using one. Question number 16, what's a book you can always reread? Well, that would be my favorite fiction book, Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. I reread it every June. Question number 17, can you read while hearing music? Only if the music doesn't have lyrics, or if it has lyrics in a language I can't understand. Like I listen to some Russian music and I speak some Russian, so that doesn't work. But I do have some standbys that I like to listen to while I read. I know I've spoken about it before here on this channel, but I really like to listen to what's called jazz hop or chill hop. It's essentially jazz music with a hip hop beat. It is so relaxing and I love having it on while I read. Question number 18, one POV or multiple POVs? It depends on the book and how the author handles it. I'd say probably most frequently I like just one POV, but if the author does multiple POVs correctly, as in the opposite of Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, then I'm fine with that as well. Question number 19, do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Again, it completely depends on the book. I would say there are a few books every single month that I can binge through all in one day if I have the time to do so, but most frequently I'd say a book takes me between 2 to 4 days to read. And finally, question number 20, who do you tag? I don't make a habit of tagging people in older tags because it's really hard to keep track of who's already done it or who might be interested in doing it if someone does tags at all, for example. So I will just use my fallback option and say, if this tag looks interesting, if it seems like it would be fun to do, you haven't already done it and you would like to, then consider yourself tagged. Feel free to say that I've tagged you. If you have any comments or questions about anything you've seen in this video or about anything in general, please feel free to leave it in my comment section below. And if you would like to connect with me somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.